Most of us have such good intentions when it comes to our holiday events, and we've all had that experience where we're frantically scrambling before our guests arrive and we're like, that is not going to happen again. And then it does. So today we're talking all about plan it, don't panic. How can we look at our holiday time pie to realistically plan the events that we are gonna do and not do? We're gonna set our menus, we're gonna assign foods to our guests, we're gonna make a grocery list, plan out some super fun minute to win it games, and also some really cute and inexpensive hostess gifts that you are gonna be excited to give. What you'll need today are the corresponding printables and also a black trash bag because we will be going through your fridge and pantry together. I'm going to show you how quickly you can get through those spaces and a game plan to make extra room as we head into the holidays. We always need more fridge space, right, as they get closer. So I want to draw your attention to some of the pages that we have in the free printable organized Christmas planner that you also received. If you haven't seen it, got it, whatever, look for a link in the description here. But in it, we have multiple pages to plan out your whole Thanksgiving get together and then also for your other get togethers after that and also for baking as well. So we have a lot of helpful tools in here, everything you need for planning your baking, the meals for your get togethers, and the actual event planning itself. So first we're going to talk about the events that we are hosting or attending, and then we're going to talk about the meal plans for them and how we can strategically plan that. Again, our theme for today is plan it, don't panic. So a good plan this time of year goes a really long way. But first I want to turn our attention to the event hosting checklist as we think about the events that we may or may not host this holiday season. And the reason I want to start here is because as I was putting this checklist together, I realized how much actually goes into hosting an event. Whether you're hosting it yourself at your own home or co-hosting it with someone else, how much actually goes into it, how much time and energy and planning, from choosing the date and time, texting with everyone to make sure that date and time works with them, sending out the invitations, planning who's gonna bring what is the menu gonna be, not to mention cleaning your house, decorating it, getting the table set, what is gonna be the decoration on the table, making your grocery list, what can you get ahead of time, what do you need to get the week of, and then setting the menu for it, what can you prep ahead of time, what needs to be done the day of, then making the food, getting it all laid out, not to mention then having all of the people to your house and then cleaning up afterwards. Even as I'm just listing off all those things, I'm like feeling tired thinking about it. And I know how it goes. Before we get into the holidays, I'm like, I would really like to host a get together. I would like to do this and that. I value quality time with people. I would love to have some of my friends over or a couples party or whatnot. And it seems like such a fun, great idea. And I think back to other times we've gotten together and how fun it was. And I fail to remember the times where I was scrambling up until the last minute, super stressed out, trying to get everything ready, and how it took away from other things that I was trying to do that day or week. So again, I wanted to start with our event hosting checklist because I want us to be very aware of how much time and energy goes into entertaining before we make any commitments. And I think a really helpful tool can be to think of it as our holiday time pie. And so there literally is only so much time that you have in the holiday season. Again, like we've mentioned, we're taking the holidays and we're plopping it on top of an already full calendar and schedule. And so when we look at our holiday time pie, there is not a lot of time in there to divvy up. And when we think about all of the things that we already are committed to and have to do, shopping and gift wrapping and decorating and doing special things with our kids or our grandkids, and the standard get-togethers, the Thanksgiving and the Christmas Day that we are probably already committing to, is there realistically in your holiday time pie any extra time to host any get-togethers yourself? And what can be good to think about is that even if you're saying no, it doesn't mean no forever, it just means no for this year. We can make a decision just for this year. Maybe you've always hosted a get-together and everybody loves it, and so if you feel like you have to host it again, you should host it again. Did you know that you actually don't have to? Does it fit into your holiday time pie? Do you need to take a break from it? Do you need to let somebody else host it this year? Or at a minimum, can you share the hosting with someone else? I think a great way to think about it is if I'm providing the location for a get together, all of the food and activities gets divvied up amongst other people. Or if someone else will let us use their home for it, then I'll agree that I'll manage the food and the activities. So it doesn't have to be all or nothing, but could we start thinking right now if these get-togethers actually fit into our holiday pie? All right, so once you know the events that you are hosting and attending, then we need to know what the menu is. And so again, there are helpful printables in your planner where we can set the menu both for Thanksgiving and then for other Christmas get-togethers or other holiday get-togethers. So you can print as many copies as you need, but what I love is that there are spaces to list out what you are providing, but also what you are expecting others to provide as well. So we definitely want to share the load of the food when it comes to our holiday get-togethers. And then we're also going to make our grocery list that goes along with it. And as you're making out your grocery list, it can be very helpful to mark which foods you can purchase ahead of time and which foods need to be purchased the week of. And now we all have different budgets, but if possible, if you can buy as many foods ahead of time, you know that you're gonna have better selection. If you purchase generic, you're gonna have better odds of finding those. And I think we have to put the blinders on to the different sales that come and go. Remember, one impulse buy can totally negate any savings that we have from a sale. And so let's not live or die by the sales unless you have a lot of energy and time in your pie to dedicate to that. Most of us don't. So we just need to make our grocery list and we need to buy the things that we can buy ahead of time, stock them into our pantry, know that we have them, and then have a very clear shopping list for the week of the event. So we're setting our menu, we're setting our grocery list, and now let's talk about baking. So we have some planning sheets for this as well. I grew up in a household with a mom who loves to bake, and the running joke in our house, so we would often plan a baking day. I very much enjoyed this day, and my aunt would come down, my mom's sister, and the joke, I mean running like 20 some years, is that my aunt Marcia, I don't know if she's watching or not. I adore her though. She's super fun and I think she would joke along with this. But my aunt Marcia would often want to try a new recipe and the recipe would never go as planned. It would get burnt. It would get overbaked. It wouldn't come out of the pan. It would be rock solid. I mean, to the point where my mom would be like, just don't try to bake anything new this year, right? And we're seeing like full sticks of butter, right? Just go out to the dogs in these creations. But then I'd have my mom and she would just make her same recipes over and over again. Every once in a while she would try something new, but it'd be pretty safe, be kind of a variation on something she's done before. And she was just kind of this like mill of consistency. And neither is wrong. I think it's fun to try new recipes, but again, when we are looking at our holiday time pie, do you have the bandwidth to dedicate to new recipes? Or should we just pick 1, 2, 3, up to 5 of our favorites, our family's favorites, and we can list those out? Those are the ones that we are going to commit to. And the beauty of this is that we can keep very standard ingredients. Often, hopefully they're recipes that you know well, so it doesn't take a lot of extra mental energy to bake these. So you can write them out, you can make your shopping list very easily. Again, you can plan out what things you can be buying ahead, what might need to be bought a little bit closer, and you might even decide to make recipes that have dough that you can freeze ahead of time, or that are especially efficient to make. So as you're looking at your Christmas baking planner, base it on, again, your holiday time pie. How much time and energy do you have to put into Christmas baking for this year? Doesn't mean that it might not be different next year, but for this year, what is realistic? And let's err on the side of things that are simple and easy and quick if you're just not sure, understanding that often these things take more time than we're actually thinking, and understanding that the holidays can still be very special for your friends and family, even if you don't make all of the things that you usually make. We're really working to preserve our sanity in this holiday season, right? So permission to pair the time you have to dedicate with the things that you're baking this holiday season. Okay, so we're getting the event set, the menus, we know what we're gonna bake. Now, let's have a little fun. We started playing Minute to Win It games at our holidays, I don't know, like 6 years ago. And so I'm gonna play a clip here. I had made a YouTube video a long time ago, so my hair is different. I sound different when I'm talking because I had a retainer in. But these are really our favorites, so I wanted to share a few with them, along with the ones that others have shared that are so good. And so I wanna share our favorite Minute to Win It games. Very little setup, very simple materials, but so much fun. This is like a disproportionate payoff how much fun our family has with these games. So if you're looking for some fun ideas, here they are. favorite was the reindeer antlers. And this is super easy. The supplies that you need are 2 pairs of pantyhose. Dollar store pantyhose work just fine, and then a package of balloons. So split your group into 2 teams. They have to blow up balloons and stuff them in the legs of the pantyhose. 5 balloons on each side, and the first team to get their reindeer antlers onto one of their teammates' head is the winner. Okay, so for this one, you just need a stack of solo cups. 1 stack for each team. There's about 20 cups in the stack, and then you just need one. Either the whole cup could be a different color or colored green or something around the top. So that one's gonna go on top, and then they're just gonna stack it from the bottom to the top. The trick is though is that you have to switch hands each time. All right, this next one was especially fun for the adults. So we have our Jingle Bell boxes. So each box has a different amount of jingle bells in it. And so the trick is to shake the boxes, figure out which one has 2 all the way up to 16, and put them in order. So I think hands down everyone's favorite game was the partner gift wrap. And so what you need for this is you need 2 sets of wrapping paper, a gift box, a bow and a gift tag, and a marker to write on the gift tag, and then also a pair of scissors and tape. So basically everything that you need to wrap a present. But here's the kicker. So you want teams of 2, but 1 person can use their right hand and 1 person can use their left hand. Basically, each team has to try and wrap the present just using their 1 hand with their partner, and then they also have to put a bow on the present and a label and address the label to someone. And so it was so much fun. For this one, the goal is to see who could build the tallest tower out of just marshmallows and toothpicks. So we set the timer for 5 minutes. I think 10 minutes would have probably been better because it did take a little trial and error to see what actually made the towers stand.
Oh, pretty much time. Oh, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, go. Your face is the point.
You got it. Oh.
Oh my.
I saw it.
Yeah, there you go.
It's falling apart. Ooh.
Go. Oh, come on, Tom. That could be it. No way. Oh. Hanging on by the thread. Oh. 30 seconds. Social day. Come on, Megan's picking up.
Come on, Megan. You got it. You got it.
You gotta pull it. You gotta do it.
You gotta do the thing.
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hung where you can see every couple tries to stop. Rocking around the Christmas tree, let the Christmas spirit ring. Later we'll have some pumpkin pie and we'll do some caroling. You will get a sentimental feeling when everybody rocking around the Christmas tree. Have a happy holiday. Everyone dancing merrily in the new old-fashioned way.
Aren't those so fun? I'm telling you, if you have not played Minute to Win It games at any of your get-togethers yet, it is such a hit. And I think you'll notice too that a lot of these games are great for a wide range of ages, which is so fun. And it was really fun, you know, when I shared the interview with my kids to hear that really what they value at Christmas isn't the gifts, it's the games and the time together, and that's what has been most memorable to them. So that was definitely, that was really fun to hear. And these games are sure to make your holiday get-togethers very memorable. Well, coming up in a minute, I want to share some really cute and fun hostess gifts, but let's just recap a few things about our get-togethers before we move on. So remember, your guests care more about connection than the menu. So if your budget is tight or you just don't have the time and energy to bake and cook all the things that you normally do, that's okay. You know, even last Thanksgiving, we even had pizza. I was going through a hard time. My mom just didn't have much to give either. And my mom had jokingly said, you know, I wish we could just have pizza this Thanksgiving. We host it here at her house, and you know, there's a lot of work that just goes into getting the house clean and ready. And so we had pizza. No one grumbled. Everyone kind of joked around about it and said it was fun. And then we played bingo and it was still a lot of fun. And now this year we're going back to more of a traditional menu. It was still a really good celebration. And what I really appreciated was that my mom and I, where the brunt of the hosting falls on us, we didn't get to the end of it and feel martyred and stressed and like, oh, we just did all that for everyone else, right? They got to benefit from it at the cost of us, right? It didn't feel like that at all. Cleanup was quick and we could just relax the rest of the day, and that was really nice. So again, it can just be for this year. It doesn't mean it's different moving forward. Also be sure to inventory your fridge, freezer, and pantry as you are making your grocery list. There's a lot of things that are hiding in the back of these spaces, right? So make sure you glance through all of that as you're making your shopping list too. And buy ahead whenever possible. You know, flour, sugar, canned goods, things that go in the freezer, anything that we can buy ahead, make sure you do, but also have it on your list so you don't forget that you have it. Okay, we're gonna get to some really cute, inexpensive, but practical and useful hostess gifts next. They can also work great for teachers or other people that you wanna appreciate when you have a small budget, but you wanna give something really cool and thoughtful where they're gonna be like, oh wow, this is really cool. Anyways, that's coming up next, but first, we have to do our trash bag toss for today. So please, please grab a black trash bag and jump up and do it alongside of me. We can make hay so quickly in our fridges and freezers and pantries right now. So we're gonna do two different things today. First, we're gonna toss anything that is expired, old, on its way out, all that. But then also, I wanna talk with you in the pantry about a game plan for how we can start to use stuff up so that we have more room. So this is all about making more room for the holiday food inventory that is going to come in. So just start at one side of your fridge or one top shelf, and then we're just gonna work our way across. And again, we're just looking for anything that is expired, almost gone. If it is 95% gone, you have permission to let it go. And then while we're doing this too, we're just kind of straightening stuff up really quick. Okay, and again, anything, you know, stuff gets laid down in the back, we forget that it's there. So even this is just such a kindness to our brain where we're turning the labels forward, being reminded of what we have, looking for duplicates, and anything that is like super old that you're just like, no one's gonna, no. What is even the date on this? Yeah, no. All right, we're gonna let that go into the black trash bag it goes. And then we're gonna keep working our way around the fridge. If there's something that you're just like, I just really don't know about it, you know, just, you can go ahead and toss it. You have permission. This, okay. How expensive are these protein shakes, right? And it's been in the fridge for a while now. I've probably needed to toss it out like a week ago, but I'm like, it's probably someone could still drink it, right? It is almost full, but it's been opened. This pains me to no end having to throw it away because again, it's so expensive. I'm not saying it's easy to throw away food that is expired or almost gone or whatnot. None of us want to be wasteful, especially with how expensive groceries are right now. But can we just go easy on ourselves? We are trying to manage so much stuff. In our membership community, I mean, this is what we do all the time, right? We're decluttering and simplifying and meal planning and planning our groceries. And we have to let ourselves off the hooks because when we actually add up all the things that we manage day in and day out, something has to give. So on any given week, something is giving, right? And sometimes it is the foods and the really expensive protein shakes in our fridge. But unfortunately, keeping it in there does not put the money back in our pocket. And it's actually even worse because it's just a reminder then, right, of the money we wasted. So toss it in your black trash bag and let's move on. All right, so we're gonna look for anything else in here. Again, if there's any containers of leftovers that you're like, it just needs to be dumped out. Like it just is, does not feel good, right? But it needs to be dumped out. And something we talk a lot about too is just keeping a lower grocery inventory moving forward. That's really the only way we stand a chance on staying on top of it. Partners really well with getting like a really simple meal plan that we work on. And so there are, like, we do have tactics for managing this, but again, like it just hasn't been where your energy's going. So please don't be too hard on yourself about what has gone bad in your fridge. All right, now let's step over to the pantry. So again here, both in our pantry and then this stand-up freezer here too, the idea is to make more space for the holiday inventory that's going to be incoming, right? And so we do that two ways. One, getting rid of, again, taking our black trash bag and just getting rid of anything that is expired, old. If you have the capacity to donate it to the food shelf right now, that's awesome. Do it. If you do not, you have permission to throw it away, whatever you have to do. I know that does not feel good. None of us want to be wasteful, but also we have to be practical. And one of the reasons we waste food is because we just have too much inventory. So right now we have to take kind of radical measures to get our inventory back down. And moving forward, we don't hardly waste food at all anymore. Moving forward, we're gonna do a much better job with it. And we have to make room for the holiday food. Okay, so we're throwing away stuff that's expired, almost gone. If you have bags of things that are like practically gone, you have permission to let that go. So that's one part of it, is just throwing that kind of stuff away. And then the other part is, because we have just a little bit of time here before we get into the holidays full swing, is to look at, are there foods that you could use up to make more room? So could we use up some foods, and that's our way also of making room. So it's like, you know, sometimes we just get like a bunch of boxes of macaroni and cheese, different soups, you know, the manwich inventory can creep up or whatever. And so we're just gonna go through and say, and pick out a few things like, okay, could I work these into my meal plan for this week? And we do that each week moving forward. But again, be very aware of your bandwidth right now, because even this takes a little bit of extra time and energy. And so if it's easier just to donate the foods and move on with life, you can do that to make room in your pantry. Or if you do have the capacity right now, yeah, let's just eat up as much of this stuff as we can. We set our repeating meal rotation earlier in the week. We're gonna have just those groceries in here, and it's gonna feel so good. And so a very standard grocery inventory. And here's how I like to think about it now. You know, we shop at Aldi. I like Aldi's. They're smaller, like, more inexpensive. They used to be a lot cheaper. The prices are creeping up there too. But here's what I love about Aldi. When I go into Aldi, I know where everything is and what's on the shelves, what they have for inventory, where to get it. It annoys me when they change it like seasonally, or they move stuff around, and I'm like, no, like you're messing, you know, with my efficiency, and it's requiring more energy now to go into the store and get it. What if we thought about our pantries that same way? We just want to have a very standard inventory. I want to always know the spaghetti sauce is going to be right there. The manwich is going to be right there. The macaroni and cheese is going to be there. I want my family to know that. I want my baking stuff is down there. The chips are down here, right? It's such a kindness to our brain right now because we live in an overwhelming time and world to have things that are just very standard and they're exactly where they're supposed to be. So again, our repeating meal plan really helps with that because we can keep a very standard pantry inventory. We can see the things we have, we can use them up before they expire, and then we can add them to our list again. It's magical. And if you haven't tried it, you know, most of us haven't thought about our pantries that way. I'm telling you, it is a complete game changer. But we start by getting rid of the old stuff, expired stuff, all that, using up the stuff that we can, and then this is definitely a goal to work towards. Woo, all right, you are doing awesome work. Why don't we turn back, have a little fun now, talk about hostess gifts, and then I'll definitely take some time to answer your questions as well. Okay, and this is my latest favorite Christmas hack. Did you know that you can take 4 crushed up Oreos and add some milk and make a really good tasty and a mug cake? It's only 2 ingredients. It's so easy. You just put it in the microwave for like 50 to 60 seconds. And then if you want to get fancy, you could put like ice cream or other toppings on top, but it's actually really good just like this too. And so I made a little printable with the recipe is an overstatement, but with the instructions, because this could be a fun gift. So a dollar store mug. If you want to get the little prepackaged Oreos at the dollar store, you can, or you can get a big package and then just divide them up. And you put the printable in there. Talk about the gift that keeps on giving, right? Whoever you give this to, teachers, hall monitors, anyone else you want to appreciate, they'll be able to make this recipe over and over and over again. So what a valuable gift that costs you less than $2. I'll put the link for the printable down below.
Hello. All right. So good to see you today. Let's talk real quick, a few more hostess gift ideas. You can tell I recorded that little video last year because things were still a lot cheaper at the dollar store. I think it's a good thing that the prices are going up because I just really don't go in there anymore. But like I said, I have those printables. So if you want to do the Oreo mug cake, there's a link for a printable for this in the description. And again, if you do go to the dollar store, you can buy Oreos like this. And so they're in little packs in there that you could give the whole thing or divide up however you want to do it. And they had these mugs at the dollar store last year. They're so cute. And they're like a really nice size to put stuff in. I didn't see them there yet this year, but they do have ones that look like this that I thought were kind of nice too. Or do you know what else? You can use a holiday mug that you, excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. Am I? Maybe not. You can use a holiday mug that you already have at your house. Maybe you've been gifted holiday mugs, you've never really used them or whatnot. And so you could just use something like that too. But a couple few dollars. And I do love that they have a recipe then that they can repeat over and over again. And along those same lines, I have a recipe card, and this is a printable too for the chocolate chip cookie bars. And so again, you can decide like how much of the stuff you want to give with it. They're only 4 ingredients. These are the best ever if you have not tried them. Well, you should have the recipe for yourself because they're only 4 ingredients. But then it's such a good gift to give to other people because you're teaching them how to make something really cool. But you can get foil pans if you want. You don't have to. Yellow cake mix, bag of chocolate chips, and then you can put it together however you want. The dollar store has cellophane. How do you say that? If you want to do something fancy like that. Lots of different ways you could wrap it up. You could just put it with the cake mix and chocolate chips too. Now I know chocolate chips get kind of expensive, but I think still around $5 for this. And really the gift that keeps on giving because you get to give the recipe too. And then also, I think Dawn Power Wash is a great hostess gift. You could give it by itself, just put some ribbon on it. You can pair it with a Scrub Mommy, still under $10. And then also, I show these every year, but they just continue to be my favorite, is the mug treats. I think this is a really nice hostess gift too. $3.50 at Walmart. They have like a lot of different flavors and whatnot. Put some cute bows on it. I forgot to show these when I was showing my gift wrap station. These are off Amazon. So these are if you wanted to give a gift card. The middle part slides out. There's just really cute designs with them. but then the middle part slides out and you can put a gift card in there. So also could be a great hostess gift. Any of this stuff could work for teachers, other people that you want to appreciate, leaders, coaches, that kind of stuff too. And any of this stuff, if you just get a cute little label or card or something from the dollar store, or we would use old Christmas cards we get in the mail and just cut off the front and round the corners on it, punch a hole in it, and write on the back side and tie some ribbon to it. And then also I love the the Swedish dishcloths too. I think those can be a great hostess gift. These I actually got at Walmart. You can get them off Amazon. I think they were just a few dollars, but thoughtful, useful, cute, easy to wrap up and make cute. And then lastly, these are kind of fun too. Like the Mike's Hot Honey is becoming popular now. This is a black truffle hot sauce that both I just got from Walmart, but they look kind of fun, nice, and you can just put some ribbon on them, put a little tag, and I think these make really great hostess gifts as well. All right. Well, like I said, those printables are in the description. If you need anything or help with anything, just email support@theminimalmom.com and we will be more than happy to help you out. But I do want to take just a little bit of time now to answer your questions. So if you're joining us live, throw it in the chat with a question mark in front of it. Also, I did want to mention too, we've covered a lot of ground so far. You're not behind. I've tasked you with a lot. And for some of these tasks are easy. For others, they're much more involved. So you're not behind. The goal this week is just to be getting our head around everything that it is that we need to plan and do, and truly to be opting out of anything that we don't have to do or being realistic about that. And so please know you are not behind if you haven't kept up with every piece of homework that we've done. We're going to talk. All right. Rebecca's asking about family stuff, and do know we're going to talk more specifically tomorrow about difficult family, grieving through the holidays, holiday decor, and Christmas cards. But Rebecca says, eat the frog. Family trashes my house and doesn't help at party. If I don't host, everyone said they won't. And then we have to meet one-on-one for gift exchanges, which takes more time and scheduling. Well, I would say, Rebecca, that you don't have to meet one-on-one, that you don't have to have family over that trashes your house and doesn't help. I would think we would all give you permission to say, no, you absolutely do not have to do any of that. You can opt out of the gift exchanges. You can say, hey, we're doing something different this year. We're just going to celebrate with our immediate family. We have some stuff planned, and, just for this year, we're going to do it differently, and then see what happens next year. But I think we would all agree that nah, you don't need to play that game anymore. Carrie says, other family members are hosting and don't like to plan until the last minute. How can we best prepare for last minute meals or events? Seems like something pops up every single year. So this is where it can be really helpful just to have your standard go-tos. If you have to bring a hot dish, what it's going to be, like warm dish, and like a hot dish here in the Midwest. But to have a standard for an appetizer, a main meal, and a dessert that you would bring, and just have them be very standard, but also still start the conversations early. And you can start the text message saying hey, I just am really trying to not have so many last minute things this holiday season. Could we start a quick thread about planning out the meals for this holiday? And then if people are still kind of meh, I don't know, you can just say, well, I'm going to bring this. I'm going to bring a veggie tray. I'm going to bring, artichoke dip. I'm going to bring a bundt cake, whatever it is. And then what you're bringing, and they can revolve around that. And if someone duplicates it up, doesn't matter. You stated ahead of time what it was that you were going to do and what you were going to bring. What do you do when you want to opt out of giving gifts to extended family? They agreed to it, but still buy gifts for all the adults anyways. I don't want to feel like the Scrooge. Nope, you are not a Scrooge. You are just playing by the rules that were set. And this is where it might take a couple years for it all to get dialed in. And we've sometimes had that experience too, where it was oh, we said no to gifts. Tom has one sister that it was, I really believe one of her love languages was gifts. And so she would still want to bring something for each of us each year. And initially I was oh no, I'm such a jerk. I didn't bring anything back, right? And then I was no, it's really just a way of her expressing her love and appreciation and whatnot, and something that she really enjoyed doing. And so then I can decide, do I want to bring something small for each person, or not? You don't have to, and you're not a Scrooge, right? You're playing by the rules that were set. So I wouldn't stress too much about that. It's likely that the people that are doing that, they they enjoy that or they like expressing it that way. And maybe if after a year or two they understand like you're not like then they'll decide if they want to keep doing it or not. I would like to read some books about minimalism during the holidays. Give me your best tips, please. Um, ooh, I don't know. If you have kids, please read Simplicity Parenting. That is hands down the best book I would recommend around simplifying everything in our home to better serve our family. As far as straight up, I don't know. I haven't read most of the books out there on it. I tend to I go more towards like the Atomic Habits and the things about like the mindsets around like the psychology behind it, and how can we implement better habits and stay on top of things and that kind of stuff. So if anyone if you want to put your recommendations for your favorite minimalism books in the chat, go for it and I'll try and read those off too. Games that include younger kids and older grandparents that can't do minute to win it. I would say if you like this was a very small sampling of the minute to win it games that are out there. Not all of them require like physical like jumping around and on the floor and all of that. Even like if you notice the apple stacking game, we did that last Thanksgiving and that was really fun. You literally just sit at the table and do it. So I would just for anyone that's kind of like, we'd like to do some games like that. Those ones didn't speak to me or they weren't quite what I was thinking. Just go to YouTube, search minute to win it games, and you are going to have a very wide selection. And you could try putting in, I haven't tried putting in more criteria around, like for older people or, sitting down or anything like that. So you could try giving some prompts like that. But there are like hundreds out there of them. So if this set didn't resonate, then, just look for some others. Oh, what do you put hot honey on? Pizzas, like you can drizzle it on pasta. Like if you like spicy, I don't find it overly spicy, but it's like that sweet spicy wings. Pizza's a big one now that it gets put on. You probably maybe even seen commercials where different pizza places are adding it to it. Uh yeah, lots of different things. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank now. Okay, Aaron, advice for a household that's celebrating 3 birthdays, Hanukkah, and Christmas all within 1 month, struggling with how to manage all the gifting when my husband is adamant that we have gifts. So you can have gifts and still scale back gifts. And, this was actually something, maybe we'll talk a little about it a little bit more tomorrow too. But, if you have a partner or spouse, like recruiting them to help with some of this. And that's where I hope some of these planners and printables if you list out, Aaron, like, hey, these are all the things that we have coming up, and these are all the gifts that we need to buy, and, just start the conversation with him. Like, I understand gifts are important. They're an important part of our celebrations. However, I think it's time that we scale them back just a little bit. They're not being appreciated. I'm learning more that kids really like to do things that are interactive together and whatnot, and that creates like really good lasting memories for them and start having a conversation. Often I don't for a big percentage of us, it's not that they're not on board. It's not that they wouldn't cooperate with it. It's just that you're learning new things and new ways of doing things. You're collecting data. You're looking at past experiences and saying like, I really don't want to do that again this year. And so you have all of this that you're like sorting through and working out and coming up with a new game plan. And they're not, right? They're just like, well, that's what it is. Like, that's Christmas. That's what we do. What do you mean there's another way, right? And so starting to have conversations with them now, showing them, gift lists and shopping lists and all that, showing them the calendar, like, look, it's actually only a month between Thanksgiving and Christmas when we plan all this, in there and everything. I think that can be really, really helpful. Where are your jacket and earrings from? My shirt is from Amazon, so it is linked in my Amazon store. I put like what I'm wearing this holiday season. Everything I showed on Monday too is in there. And then my earrings are from Trades of Hope. So they help women out of poverty. And so we can put a link for Trades of Hope. I don't know if these exact ones are still available, but you can feel good shopping there knowing that anything you buy, great quality and helps women. So all right, what to do when family doesn't want to stop adult gift exchanges? Sister wants to do $50 to $100 exchanges, 5 siblings plus 2 brother-in-laws. I've brought up Secret Santa, but Marissa, I think you're really going to need to stand your ground. So there was one year where I'm not like trying to throw Tom's family under the bus in any way. It was just like where we were still trying to figure out what our traditions were going to be. And so we kind of bounced around different things, but there was one year where they wanted to do an adult gift exchange and like money was just really tight for us and I didn't feel good about it and I was just like, I don't want to go through another holiday season feeling resentful about this and just feeling I just remember when you're just driving home and like the gift was at my feet that I got and just being like, why did I do this? I wanted to opt out. I didn't. And I don't want to feel that way anymore. And so we actually opted out ourselves and they still did it. So it is possible for you to say, hey, that is totally fine. You guys want to do that. That's an important part of your tradition. I fully respect that. We're drowning in stuff, or our budget is just kind of tight this year, or, we're just deciding like I'm really working on decluttering our house and like I just can't manage like more stuff coming in. Whatever you want to, you don't even have to give an excuse. Honestly, you can just say, like, hey, we've just talked about it. We're not going to do it this year. You guys go ahead. We don't want to in any way hamper, whatever what you're going to do, but we're choosing not to do it. You can opt out and still let everyone else do it. Does it feel weird when you're sitting there and they're exchanging gifts? I don't know. I was totally fine with it. I was actually glad for it. I was like, awesome. You guys enjoy it. Have fun. Couldn't care less like what you're doing. I didn't feel like a Scrooge. I didn't feel like a jerk. It was fine. We're all grown adults. Like we actually get to choose like what we do and don't do. Right. So, all right. Gender neutral gift idea to have on hand to give back if someone gives you an unexpected gift. Again, I think, something, well, this wouldn't be gender neutral. You could have cookie bars made up. I don't like to play that game though. If someone unexpectedly gives you a gift, I think you can just receive it and say, wow, thank you so much for thinking of me. You could even send them a thank you note if you really wanted to. But I think sometimes we just misunderstood that or misunderstand that sometimes people are just really wanting to show us some kind of appreciation or some kind of love, or they have something they're excited about. Like, I genuinely enjoy giving this to people, right? And so I might go out of my way to give it to people that I am in no way expecting anything in return from them. And I just enjoy giving it to them and surprising them and showing them some appreciation. So I think let's not also feel like we have to reciprocate every single time that we get something. And then again, they can decide next year if they give you something you don't reciprocate, they can decide next year if they want to give it again or not. Or you could for the next year say, hey, like I really appreciated that gift, and decide if you want to give something back or not. All right. Let's see. Thoughts on how to have teen learn giving is better than receiving. She's not on board with doing less gifts. Yeah, Christy, I'm glad you asked this. I've been thinking more about that question that came up yesterday too about, I have one kid who is like unappreciative and then I have two that are, or one that feels kind of entitled. And so I think, hands down the number one thing we can do, and research supports this, is model whatever character traits, work ethics, whatever things we are really hoping for our kids to inherit and to take with them into adulthood. The number one way to impart that to them is just for us to model it. We don't even have to say a single thing. Like, we just do it and we model it. When someone gives us a gift, we are very gracious. We even like maybe get back in the car and tell the kids like, wow, I just feel so much gratitude for them and I'm really grateful that they thought of me that way, or whatever, right? We speak it out to them what we're thinking, because obviously they don't know what's going on in our brain. I do think if there's anything we can do this time of year to shift the focus a little bit, is there a family that we could help out with? Could we do a giving tree thing as a family and go shopping together for them? Could we go visit residents in retirement centers when we're not in the height of flu season or whatever, is there something we could do as a family to give back to someone else? A lot of times our kids have not experienced that and they don't understand how good it does feel. Even just making a meal for a family that that just maybe is really busy this time of year or something, and dropping it off and letting them know ahead of time you're going to run it over and the kids coming with. So I think it's multifaceted, how we help our kids to express appreciation and gratitude and not feel entitled. But I also want to, when we like in my master's degree in psychology, when we were learning about this, it is pretty much 50-50 nature versus nurture, meaning 50% of our personality and wiring, and even down to things like this, is just it's just pre-wired in. So when you say I have two kids like this and one like this, yeah, it was the lottery of the genetics they got. And then 50% is nature or what they're experiencing. And so it's really fascinating how the nature can help some things express and not express, like genetically. And so it's not saying like, well, we're hardwired with that, that's just how it is, but it is saying that like we're predisposed to certain ways of feeling, and even down to people being more optimistic or less optimistic. And so sometimes we just think like you need to cheer up or you need to look on the bright side, when like literally that is their predisposition to how they filter and look at the world. And so I think sometimes we do have to separate it ourselves as parents and say, you know, if my child is just coming off a little entitled over the holidays, it doesn't necessarily mean that I did anything wrong. It's just this cocktail of things that I can't control. Now, are there some things I could maybe do to help them, you know, appreciate more? Yes. But at the end of the day, like, we can only control so much of these human beings that have free will also, right? And so kind of knowing where our influence stops and where it doesn't. So I'm getting a little long-winded on this answer, but I know it's important to us because I think most of us as parents do want to raise kids that are appreciative and not entitled and whatnot. So model it. Look for opportunities to help and serve others. You know, I will move on from this, but you know, earlier this year I was talking about the World Happiness Report because it was not looking good for us as Americans when it came out. This was the first year we weren't in like the top 5 or 15 of happiest countries in the world, which makes no sense because we have so much. But the number one way that they found to increase your happiness is to volunteer. And do you know what was so cool about it? You only needed to volunteer one time a month and it could increase your happiness level by up to 60%. And so even just having your kids help around the house actually helps them to feel like they are useful and they have a place in the world. And so start bringing your kids in. Say, hey guys, like, you know, we have printables in there for cleaning routines and speed cleaning and whatnot, and saying like, or, you know, even your event planning checklist, like, hey, you know, we're hosting this. Look at all of this stuff that we have to do. You know, how can we come together and work on this together? That it's not just you carrying this, that it is like a team approach to it. And in fact, they will say with kids that if you want your kids to learn teamwork and how to work in it well in a like a work setting later on in life with coworkers, it is not from team sports or team activities or group activities. It is the number one way to do that is for them to help at home and to have chores and responsibilities at home. That is the number one way to instill that in your kids, that they will be cooperative adults and that they'll be able to be good teammates and whatnot. So anyways, I will stop ranting that now, but the holidays are confusing, you know, and um one last thing, I'm gonna go to Sarah's question here too. I think when it comes to Christmas, our kids don't know what to ask for. You know, yesterday we were talking about how much we spend on kids. And I'm sorry, I did not mean to in any way be rude when I was like $400 and $500, right? I literally had no idea. And then I asked a friend later that night, I'm like, what do you spend? And they were like, well, I have spent up to $1,000 per child, but I'm really trying to rein it back now. And I'm like, you don't say, OMG, right? So I literally didn't know. But I think what's really confusing for us and our kids this time of year is our kids don't know what to ask for. All they've been trained and conditioned by our culture to ask for is gifts and things from the gift catalog that comes in the mail. I believe if we actually, I've joked about this before, but I want to create like a little catalog that is like actually like things to do with our kids, like, you know, having hot chocolate and watching a Christmas movie and sledding and spending like a good amount of time decorating and putting up the tree and different things. And like if those options were laid out alongside all of the gifts, I think many of our kids would be like, oh yeah, I pick those things, right? But the only thing they know to ask for is gifts. Like it's just how we've all like done it so far. And so I think we don't have to be so fearful about scaling back and cutting back because our kids are drowning in stuff and they are desperate for human connection. Like we are raising the loneliest generation yet, and that does not make sense, right? And so we scale back the stuff, we spend more time together, we make it more meaningful, we play minute to win it games. They can just go off the rails and you're still going to have a blast and tell stories about it, right? And they don't take a lot of time to put together. And so we shift our focus just each year a little bit more, a little bit more. And I'm telling you, I really believe that your stress level is going to go down and the level of enjoyment with your family is going to skyrocket. Okay. Now let's go back to Christina's questions. That's not the one. Okay, Sarah's question. Any thoughts on extended family who insist on traditional holiday meals but have to accommodate gluten and dairy allergies? Yes. So Sarah, like, um, it, I th- this is tough, right? Like we had a family member who had Crohn's disease and so had different dietary needs. He just took care of his own thing at the holidays. It wasn't really expected that the rest of the meal planning would revolve around it. Now, it's just different. It's different in every family situation. So, if that's your family, do you just bring your own things? I mean, if they're offering to accommodate and saying like, "Hey, we want to make sure we have gluten-free rolls and could you let us know what ones to get and how can I make the mashed potatoes without dairy or whatnot?" Then absolutely, like chime in and let them know. If they're not offering that, it just might be that they don't know and they don't want to take on the risk of making someone sick. That they're just worried that like what if I mess it up or don't do it right? And so it can be very complicated. I know we talked more about this last year with Christine when we were doing all of this, and we didn't really land on a great answer except that every family is unique and you probably just have to have conversations with them about it. And if they don't feel either comfortable or they don't have the bandwidth to take it on to do special types of cooking for those who have those dietary needs, that they just have to, accommodate it for themselves. Would it be lovely if we could go, like those of you who have these restrictions could go to any get together and know that like there was thought and care put into that? I would love that for you. Like, I just think like how special that would make you feel, I have to imagine. And also like some people just don't feel comfortable assuming that risk and they really worry and stress that they would mess something up and make someone sick. So I see both sides of it and it takes a lot of communication. Do you have your bundt cake recipe book as a printable for gifting with a bundt pan? Yes. So you can still purchase it right now. We'll put the link in the description. I think it's still at $5. It's or any donation to Dorothy's house. All the proceeds continue to go there. But yes, you can absolutely print that out and gift it with a bundt pan. I think that is just a fantastic gift. I love it. That's awesome. All right. Let's look for a couple more questions here. What do you make ahead of time that freezes well before a party? I have loaded baked potato rolls I made. I would be curious for all of you to chime in the comments. I don't do that. I've just never had the bandwidth to do it. I just make sure I set aside enough time the day before and the day of. But for those of you that are into that, if you want to share some ideas, that's super helpful. All right. Santa still visits Kimberly's house. What do you do about gifts from Santa and gifts from parents? Yes, I really love that Santa is so cooperative with this. And so, we talked with Santa and at our house, he brought one gift per child. And then later that just became a gift from mom and dad. And so we did do that. And it was just something we talked about and agreed on and we wanted to do. But it's really cool how cooperative Santa is. So you can really decide for yourself how you guys want to navigate that. And yeah, so I would just say I do like the idea of Santa bringing fewer gifts and mom and dad bringing more, but it's really up to you. But again, just because we've done something one way up until this point does not mean we can't change it. Again, it's just all about clear expectations with our kids. Oh, yeah. Yes, and for many, yeah, Santa is so generous to fill the stockings as well too, or sometimes just fills the stockings, which I just, he's so flexible. I think that's awesome. Any advice on how to tackle a conversation about a tradition from an extended family member that is a huge stressor for me? Or should I just keep sucking it up every year? No, Samantha, we're not doing that anymore, right? I would talk to them about it and let them know, like, hey, I know this is important. So I've really wanted to continue on the tradition and carry it on. But man, it is just kind of overloading me right now. And just talk to them about it. you know, like, don't get me wrong. We have some family members that are just straight up difficult and they'll be like, meh, I don't really care. Right. But I think the bulk of our extended family actually doesn't want to stress you out and would hate to know that it's been stressful for you or that you don't want to do it anymore. And so, if you could have a conversation with them about it, it might be fun to see how they actually respond to it. At least you'll know where you stand with them then. Is the Bundt Pan book from scratch? My grandmother, who is 96, loves to bake and is so good at it. That could possibly be a good gift idea to her. No, Kristen, I'm sorry. I don't bake anything from scratch. They all start with a boxed cake mix, a thing of pudding, and sour cream. So they're not, but for the rest of us, it's actually great because they're so easy and you literally can like not mess them up. I've never had one that was not edible. Like sometimes we've had them stick to the pan and then we make it into like a I don't know, deconstructed cake. I don't know what you would call that, but yeah. But they're not from scratch. So, make mini bundt cakes for teacher hostess gifts. Oh yeah, would recipe be the same and pour into minis, or would you have to adjust the recipe? No. So I do have that in the bundt cake recipe book. You don't have to change the recipe at all. What you might be surprised by is that they still take a fair amount of cooking time. So it's usually not less than 15 to 20 minutes, even when you're making the small ones. The big ones cook for like 50 to 55 minutes. So it just takes a little trial and error with your oven. You can also, if you have a Ninja Flip air fryer, you can make them in there too. They don't get quite the golden crust on the outside, but they cook real fast. In there, they actually cook quite a bit faster when you use the bake function. So, for what it's worth. How do you uninvite people who only come around at Christmas due to gifts? Well, Amanda, I'd be curious if you say we're not doing gifts this year if they don't come around, and just say, hey, we've been thinking about things and we're not doing it this year. That would be a great litmus test, I think. So, I saw a comment too, like, oh, that would be so awkward going and other people are doing a gift exchange and you're not. We can't, like, we are not able to make people happy. Like, do we understand that? Have we understood that yet? There is nothing that I can do to make an unhappy person happy. Like, we have unhappy people and we have happy people, and I am not catering to the unhappy people. If someone's going to make me feel weird for not participating in a gift exchange, like, I don't have time for you. Now, I'm a little more like I'm unfiltered more since more recently, right? The last couple of years. But I'm just like, life is too short for me to give any of my mental bandwidth right now to that. Like, if someone can't respect my decision and be like, hey, you do you, boo. Like, no, sorry. That means that probably nothing I'm gonna do is gonna be good enough for you. And probably the gift I would bring anyways wouldn't be good enough anyways, right? So same thing. Like, how do you handle party poopers? Yeah, like I don't know. Sorry. Like, sorry you're an unhappy person. Like, I don't want to be the one judging and labeling people, but everyone gives off an energy. And like, that, right? I want to be around people that give off good vibes and that, like, I enjoy getting together with. There are going to be the people there that don't. I'm not catering to you. I'm not worrying about you. I will say hi to you, maybe visit for a few minutes, and then I'm going to go back to the other people. Like, no, sorry. Like, I'm not letting you dictate my holidays. And like, we can do that and that's fine. And I just know the limit of my influence on people like that. There's nothing I can do. Like, there's nothing. So it feels good when you can just like, oh, hey, buddy. When you can just like understand that, own it, and be like, oh, this is so cool. Like, it's not my job to make anyone happy, whether it's extended family or my kids. There is nothing I can buy that's going to make my kids happy. They'll get that quick blip of like a dopamine hit. Everybody does when they open a gift, but we've all experienced that. Once the wrapping paper's, thrown away and all that and the dust settles, it didn't actually make them a lasting change in their happiness. That comes from human connection, right? Which we're all, I think, running a little low on that, most of us, unless you've been real intentional. So I love it. But this is where we have to stick together, because honestly, we get into it a little bit and we get the text message and we're like, is this right? Like, I opted out and now I'm, getting pushback. Like, that's why we have to stick together on this and be like, no, like, you're doing a good job. Like, yes, you're going to get some blowback. It's just how it's going to go. But like, just trust the process, stick with it. And I'm telling you, a couple years from now, you are going to be so glad that you did get through an awkward Christmas, whatever. Like, everyone's going to move on and be on to the next thing, but you are going to be so glad that you did.
So coming up tomorrow, we're going to talk about dealing with difficult family during the holidays. Diana and I have a great segment. We're going to talk about brevity is sanity, and then also I have a little more to share from Dr. John Deloney. We'll also talk about holiday decor and sending out Christmas cards, especially photo cards, and being realistic around that. But for today, if I haven't said it again, you're doing awesome work, and I truly believe that this planning that you're doing now is going to pay off in dividends as we get into the holidays. But here is your assignment for tonight. Make sure you have a clear plan of any of the get-togethers that you are hosting or attending and what you need to bring. Plan your menu for each event, including who's going to bring what and the corresponding grocery lists. Also, decide what treats are you going to bake. Take some time to fill out that worksheet along with a grocery list. And also think ahead to any hostess gifts that you might want to give. All right, well, we're over halfway through, and honestly, we've done the heavy lifting now. I think the next couple of days are gonna have some really good mindset shifts and tools, but not as much to physically do. So we're definitely on the downslope. I love you. I hope you have a really good day, and I'll see you again tomorrow.